Shelby means look at you. I have to tell you, your album, Shelby, it is, and I don't say this ever. Like, I don't say this to every guest. What an album. Like, it's kind of one of the best albums of the year.
Oh gosh, thank you so much.
And that's Jamie. It's just spectacular. Congratulations, Shelby.
Thank you.
And, I was thinking about you making this album. And I was thinking, creating like a new piece of art, like a new album with songs that didn't exist before. That's gotta be torture. I mean, am I right or am I wrong?
In some ways, yes. For me, it was vulnerable sharing the demo tapes to Jerry Douglas and Ron Block and Brian Sutton, the people that I had play on the record.
Sure.
Because I know they're going to make whatever I did sound really good and sound better than I could have imagined. But to share that rough, raw, like, song when it's not quite fully formed yet,
Right.
is probably other artists feel that, but it's very vulnerable for me.
Because, I've been reading this book by Mike Campbell from the Tom Petty Band.
Yeah.
And he's talking about he was making one of the albums. They used to spend like 3 days with like the drums, just testing the drums. And this happened as I was listening to your album, Shelby. And I'm like, I mean, how long did it take you to like make this album?
Well, I had a pre-production session with Maya, my producer, and she helped me finish some songs, and then we got all of the arrangements mapped out, and for 13 songs. But in the studio, we had 3 days to track with the full band.
So you had 3 days.
3 days.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that time crunch almost like a good thing?
It was great. And Ron Block was mentioning how he really liked having a constraint because you couldn't think too much. You couldn't get too deep into the weeds, and you had to just keep moving forward and play it as good as you could about 4 or 5 times each song. And then we would be like, I think it's in there.
Wow. Shelby, and when you're doing all this, don't you have like, I mean, you're always been very confident and very secure, but like, don't you have insecurities that like, why did this song suck?
Oh, yeah.
Like, what if this is like a bad song? Don't you ever have these like feelings?
Well, yeah. Elephant at the Zoo was one when we played the demo and everybody was kind of quiet. And then Brian says, well, Shelby, what is this song about? And I was like, I kind of panicked and like, well, what do you mean? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Like,
Right.
And he was just asking. He wasn't judging it.
Sure.
But it's
very vulnerable.
Yeah, our perception can be, you can feel judged when you're not.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So, but everyone was really amazing and helped me be at ease in the studio. I was certainly nervous, and it kind of did manifest itself in physical pain. Like at the end of the session, I had to go to the doctor because my finger hurt so bad. I had to basically just broke my finger playing the bass. But that's how you make a good bluegrass record, right? Yeah. The bass player probably is gonna break something.
Is that a thing? Like if you're hurting your fingers and it means you're doing a good job?
No. It's not recommended.
Okay.
No.
I mean, wait, it's not recommended.
Right.
Oh. And Shelby, you just mentioned that, like with Maya, you toned out, to 13, 15 songs. The album ended up being 13. Mm-hmm. How many did you make? I'm sure did you have like 100, and were you like just cutting them off?
I wish. I went through my journals and found songs that were complete or almost complete, or that I didn't think would fit in any of my other projects. So that was a really exciting process.
Yeah.
And it was cool to surprise Maya. She's like, Shelby, we need songs, we need to write. So she was like putting these ideas out, and we started a few songs even. And then by the time she saw my notebooks that I'd compiled, she's like, oh, you have songs.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You know what you're doing.
Yeah. But 13 songs feels like a good amount. It really does feel like an album's worth.
Sure.
Even 10 songs would have been okay, probably.
Yeah.
But Calamity Jane is so short.
Right.
And then the 2 covers helped to round it out. So
totally, it's a great listen. Let me ask you a little bit about your background. I mean, your story is fascinating, Shelby, in so many ways. But I love the story of when you were growing up in Wyoming, and you go to like Europe for the first time. Yeah, I think Slovakia or something.
Yes.
tell me, I mean, you've talked a little bit about it, but like, tell me like what that was like for like a young little Shelby, going to like Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
As like you fell in love with that, right? Like,
Yes. Oh, I did 100%. Music has allowed me to travel the world. I went to Hawaii with choir in high school for the very first time, and that was amazing. Then in the college choir, collegiate chorale, we went to Germany and Hungary or somewhere, Germany and Austria, I think, and sang in cathedrals. And we even sang where Mozart was baptized, and just to experience our music. And it was a mixture because it was chorale, so it was classical and songs in different languages and everything. But to experience that music and hear the singing in those old spaces in Europe was so amazing. And then my world,
when you did?
I was 18 or 19.
Okay.
And then a few years later, my world music professor, Rod Garnett, knew that I played bluegrass and wanted me to put together a band to take over to Slovakia for this international folk contest. And he didn't really play up that it was a contest so much. We thought we were just going to perform. So that helped because we didn't have nerves. We weren't like competing with the other bands. But then Oh, and that definitely early on got me prepared for what it's like to be a traveling upright bass player. I didn't fly with a bass. I used a bass that they had backline there. And when I got there, there was no end pin.
Yeah.
So I couldn't adjust the height of the instrument. So on stage, we found a box that was hard. So I just could set the bass on the box to play it. And then I would step forward and sing and the bass would go down. But then I would step back and put it up on the box.
Fascinating.
But the culture and the people that we met from all different countries, almost every country in Europe was there competing and participating in this exchange of music and culture. And we got to see the different dresses, like different outfits because a lot of the contestants had dancing as part of their musical presentation. And so different costumes and just to see the folk culture in little countries around Europe. And then we represented America, so we were wearing our suits and like bluegrass, we would do that.
How do you do in that competition?
We did not win.
Okay.
But we made great friends. We befriended the Italians. They were from Sicily, and they had a bus. They drove, their bus came up. Yes, they're so easy to get along with. And we had a day off, and they were like, come to Hungary with us. So we did a road trip with them. And then we changed our plans. We were going to go to the Czech Republic afterwards, but they're like, no, you have to come to Italy. So we went to Sicily. And
well, you're perfect for Italian. Like your personality is so open and so jovial. Every time I've seen you, wherever it is. Did that come from your parents?
Probably, yeah. My dad is very outgoing.
Okay.
I think he might have been shy in high school, but then he realized I need to be more outgoing going into college to meet people and get the most out of the experience.
Or were you like a shy, like young?
No, my mom is shaking her head. She's like, oh no. When I was a little baby, I am just learning to walk. I think we came to Nashville because I grew up in Kentucky. We came to Nashville for a meeting that my dad had and went to the Opry, right? And I was just wandering around trying to meet every person there, talk to every person. My mom was like, oh my God, stranger danger. No, like, but it didn't come into my brain at that point.
Unreal, Shelby. And talking about your dad, 5-string Wake Up Call.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many good songs. I could talk about all of them, but I want to spoil out that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, just, you paint such a vivid picture, beautiful picture, and a very loud picture. Oh, it was? Which was cool.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about like what it was growing up with that like beautiful cacophony of sound, even to like wake up to go catch the bus,
Yeah. Well, I was very annoyed by it when I was a kid. But looking back on it, I wanted to capture that in this song. That now that I look back and think about that, what a cool way to to have music come into my life and to wake up to go to school, to start the day with a banjo wake up call.
Sure.
Really cool. And the more people I talk to, the more parents, dads specifically, that hear the song, and even the session musicians on the song could all relate to it. They all did something very similar to their kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just,
That's so cool.
I think it's a great thing. And just thinking about, Kyle Tuttle, who I've been in Golden Highway with, he's a new dad, so I can already tell that he's like looking forward to waking his kid up with the banjo. Yeah, and like hopefully the kids that grow up, they won't know any different. They'll think everybody just plays music.
Sure.
Here in Nashville.
Is that how it was for you? Like you thought that was just like how it was?
I thought, it was how it was for us. We didn't have TV growing up in Wyoming. We had a TV, but it would just play Salt and Pepper.
That's cool.
Yeah, it just like the snowstorm, So we had to be creative and use our imaginations, read books, and play music.
Yeah.
So by the time we got old enough to participate in the jams that my parents would host, that was really, really great.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool, Shelby. Great story. Let me ask you about the all-star team that you made this album with. I mean, the names alone is just like a who's who of like bluegrass and everything. But I'm curious, like when you're in a room with like Tim O'Brien or like, or Billy Strings or whatever, how does the hierarchy work? Like obviously, like, you feel you belong in that room and you do, and everyone is like just respectful, but like who is like the quarterback? Who's the leader? Like, you know what I mean? Because, you're still like the youngest one or something.
Yes.
Proven, quote unquote.
Right.
Does that play into you? Like, okay, Tim O'Brien, you take the ball. Like, how does that work?
Definitely. I really respect everyone I had on the record, and I know that I felt comfortable having a little bit of looseness. I had to be really prepared and organized. Maya and I worked hard to be organized so that when they were asking us anything like, who should solo here or who fills this part, we know the answer. And that is like part of the commanding the room, commanding the players. Like, yes, I hired these guys, I booked the session, these are my songs, we're doing it, this is my project. But I've heard Jerry Douglas and Tim O'Brien, and I respect them so much. That's why I wanted them involved, to bring them in, and not to like fit them into my box, but to hopefully like leave a little bit open so that they could add their special flavor into the mix.
Absolutely.
And they're all very respectful, and they would have ideas, but they wouldn't want to step on my toes or anything. Like, it was almost a little bit like timid. There's a little bit of respect that comes when they're offering an idea.
Yeah.
Like, well, we could do this, but of course, if it doesn't feel right, just not do it. And that's important for me to learn also as a band member and session musician, to playing on other people's albums and in other bands, to remember that.
I think it's fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. What has surprised you, Shelby, about being a front woman? I know you've been in several groups before and you've always been like, right there on like front of the stage, but now this is like your show. Like, is there anything that has surprised you?
I do feel comfortable in the role. And that is a little surprising because I'm a bass player. I'm a supportive, I play the support role, but actually really like writing the set list, thinking about the organization of that. And
I was thinking of Stevie Nicks, like she was great in Fleetwood Mac,
Yeah.
and then she did her thing, and that's kind of the analogy, but I was
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely, all of the work that I've done for other people leading up to this point has taught me so much that now stepping into the leadership role, I feel equipped, and I'm aware of what my weaknesses might be, and I have goals. Like, I want to keep getting better
Cool.
at it. Yeah.
That's cool. And that's amazing, Shelby. I think you're gonna play a song for us. And your boys, you had a great show last night, so I don't want to overuse this, but let me leave you with this, Shelby. On the rare occasions that music is not on your mind with Joel, maybe if there's 2 days a year that you're like, okay, I know you love baking and I know you like gardening.
Yes.
What are these like your go-tos? And I saw why are they so impactful to you? Gardening, making, tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah. And my dog also, Casper, he's
How old is Casper?
2,
Oh, like
2.5. He's great, and he gets me out of the house and walking on the beach where we live, and I like training him. That's really fun, and rewarding. I probably spend more time doing that, like grooming him or training him, or just trying to create a little guy that brings joy to the world. But I do love gardening a lot. I am not so good at starting things from seed, but once they're going, I like to put them in my garden and watch them grow. I like to weed.
Yeah.
Weeding is very therapeutic. I think a lot of people find it that way, but you're just making sure that the dirt looks good, that the plants are happy. It's nice to take care of something,
The process.
other than yourself, and to watch something grow. And then possibly you get flowers and you get vegetables, hopefully tomatoes. I've gotten a few tomatoes this year.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it makes other people happy too. My in-laws, they like to see the flowers and eat the tomatoes.
I think what I'm hearing, Shelby, and it applies to your career and to your relationships and to the tomatoes and everything, is that, and I've seen it since I've met you, which has been like 4 or 5 years, like progress is happiness, they say. It doesn't matter how big or small.
Mm-hmm.
And just see you work in your craft, see you work in your songwriting, in your performance, seeing you evolve, like that is, you take great joy in that, and it's starting to show, and it's really kind of inspiring, actually.
Oh, thank you.
So I think that's like a takeaway, because you're not gonna stop growing.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
Yes, it's very exciting.
That's Shelby.
Thanks for saying that.
For your time, if you want to take us away with a song, would be honored.
I'd love to. Hey, I'm Shelby Means. I'm going to play a song from my debut record called Up on the Mountain. A man climbs up on the mountain, trying to find peace from a troubled past, seeking the old man in the mirror, trying to throw a lasso around the moon. Feels like the mountain is calling my name. A man plays up on the mountain. He's not afraid of the darkened path. A trapper trying to catch his prey, wearing the tail end of a raccoon. Feels like the mountain is calling my name. Feels like the mountain is calling my name. Feels like the mountain is calling my name. An eye for an eye and a back for an apple. Lay it on the table or get yourself gone. And he said, damn this pack of wolves that stole my girl and all my money. That's the way it goes in this promised land. That's the way it goes in this promised land. Feels like the mountain is calling my name. A family left without a home, swept away in water, deep and tumbling. Never lost faith in love. It's a foundation that will keep from crumbling. Feels like the mountain is calling my name. Feels like the mountain is calling my name. It's calling my name, calling my name. Feels like the mountain is calling my name.
Thank you for tuning in. Click here to subscribe and get the latest from the show, including exclusive behind-the-scenes footage and once-in-a-lifetime performances. And as always, thank you for making Jrodconcerts Media part of your day.